Namaste. I am Devi Maharaj and I would like to welcome you all to my YouTube channel called Brahma Gaje, a channel that is dedicated to philosophical discourse. Please do not forget to click on that like button and also that subscribe button. In this episode, I will be summarizing the day 9, the final day of Shri Shiv Maha Puran Katha held here locally in Maryland, in Finksburg, Maryland, at a temple called the Greater Baltimore Temple. And the Katha was conducted by the High Priest of the temple, Acharya Shri Padmanabh Joshi. So this is the final episode of this series, the final day of the Katha, day 9. Let's get started, shall we? So on this day, Panditji began with the idea that it's the ego that is the asuri bhav. Ego blinds us in such a way that we commit such sins and acts, hurting others and the society. So ego is really the root cause, and that ego is the asuri bhav, the demon-like thought. If we get rid of the ego, then we achieve Shaivitva, the divinity, the divine eternal bliss, the divine knowledge and blessings of Lord Shiv. So we must cultivate our mindset in such a way that we remove I, me first, ego, and surrender to the ultimate reality that is Shiv. So that is how Panditji started. The ego-driven attitude is the cause of our demise. Then Panditji started describing the various Shiv Lings. He talked about how Rishi Dadichi did a great tap to defeat demons. And one day when he was in meditation, one of the great demons tried to chop the head of Rishi Dadichi. He was in meditation, and to protect Dadichi, Shiv appeared and annihilated the demon. And thus the Shivling there became Dadichi Ishwar or Dadicheshwar. Then Panditji talked about Pashupatinath, how the Naya king had once a dream and discovered this Shivling in Nepal, Kathmandu side in Pashupatinath, which is the head of the Shiv. Kedarnath has the rest. Then Panditji talked about the Laliteshwar Mahadev in Prayag, another divine site. Then Panditji talked about Hatkeshwar Mahadev, who has been there since Satyug, ages and eons ago. Mahadevji in Hatkeshwar form appeared in Gujarat. Hatkeshwar Mahadev is also the Aradhya Dev of Nagar Brahmins, myself included. He is the Aradhya Dev of me. And the story of Hatkeshwar Mahadev goes as such as Panditji described, that once great sages were conducting a yajna in Darukuvan, and they had gone to collect the materials for the yajna, and their wives were alone. Mahadev tries to test the devotion of the wives and also the rishi, and appears in a very mystical form. He appears in a Digambar form, in a pure energy form, in such a way that the wives of the rishi become full of emotion and they started acting oddly. They were hugging each other, they were kissing each other, they were embracing each other in such a way that when the rishis returned, found it inappropriate. They didn't understand that this was just the Leela of Mahadev. Shiv is both Sagun and Nirgun. He is the full of property and he is also without all properties. This was just an act to test. When Shiva appeared in this mysterious form and had this great impact on the wives of the rishis, rishis became really angry, thus failing the test. And they cursed their wives and also Shiv. Shiv expected this in a way. So, Shiv Ling, the energy form of Shiv, falls in this region. And it falls in such a way that it gets scattered. The entire universe starts to feel the impact of this curse. When Shivic energy, which is the source of all eternal creation, or all creation for that matter, when that becomes unstable, the universe cannot sustain itself. It will lose cohesion and fall apart. And that's what started happening. The entire universe and all the other universes themselves started shaking and started losing the cohesion because Shivling had become unstable. The energy form of Shiv, the pure energy form of Shiv, had become unstable there due to the curse. Again, this was also the test. Who can curse Shiv? Shiv was simply testing this further. Knowing this, everybody went to the Adi Shakti, Bhagavati Ma, Amba, and told Mata Parvati, Shiva, Amba, Shivani, that Mother, you do something because you are the only one who can sustain this energy in your yoni, in your base. Mother accepted the request of everybody because otherwise the creation would have just lost its cohesion and would have just simply vanished, would have become scattered and eventually destroyed. So Mother accepts that. The word Hatak means fragments, group. Mother collected those fragments, the unstabilized energy, and stabilized, collected, made a cohesion of all of it into that singular one form, the Ling, and rested the Ling in herself, in her yoni, in the base. Thus, now the entire energy became focused again, and Shiv appeared. The sages apologized, said, we again acted out of ignorance, with anger. We unrealized, cursed our wives and you, which was our mistake. We didn't look at the bottom of why this was happening. We did not really investigate the cause of this. And again, sometimes we act arbitrarily. We act in haste and make certain decisions, which is what the teaching here is, that you must investigate what and why is something happening the way it is happening. And once you know the reason, then you act. Shiv accepted the apology and gave the boon that here will remain the Hatkeshwar Mahadev. In a way, Jyotirling, and thus it became the Hatkeshwar Mahadev in Vadnagar in Gujarat, which is also, as I mentioned, the Aradhya Dev of Nagars, Nagar Brahmins in Gujarat, which includes me. The poetry by Narsi Mehta comes in to remind that Bhola Bhola Shambhu tamne Vishwa vakhane re. Moolani baat to koi na jane re. Shiv, you are easy to please. Thus everybody praises you, and your root Why things happen and why you appear and why all these things, nobody can comprehend. You are endless, eternal, always there. Then Panditji talked about story of a thief who once went to a temple and saw a golden pot hanging above Shiv. Jaldhari, basically a drop of water is dripping from that golden pot. He was attracted into the gold. Shivling was right there in the center. The gold pot was above, but it was at a height. The thief did not have a ladder, so he used Shivling and stepped upon it and got the Jaladhari. But in doing so, he was so focused in his act that one instance of that focus with which the water fell on Shiv, and he also with him in a way surrendered to Shiv. Shiv considered that complete surrender and appeared and gave the boon to the thief. Thief realized his mistake and became a Shiv devotee, and that place became another temple. Then Panditji talked about the main 12 Jyotirlings, starting with the first one, Somnath Mahadev in Gujarat. There are countless number of Jyotirlings that have existed for eons, since many yugs, but there are 12 primary Jyotirlings that Panditji described. The first one he described was Somnath Mahadev in Gujarat. Shiv restored the moon's curse where his father-in-law had cursed him to become null and void. Shiv gave him the abhay and put him on his forehead. The reason why his father-in-law Daksh Prajapati had cursed the moon was that he was not fair to all of his wives. He was only attracted to the Rohini. This imbalance is what made Daksh Prajapati very angry, because his other daughters were treated unfairly. Only one daughter was treated fairly, which is Rohini. So thus he cursed him, and Shiv gave him the abhay and put him in his forehead. So Somnath Mahadev is that place where everybody worshipped Shiv and requested him to revive Chandradev. Shiv said, I am going to revive you, but you will still have the impact of the curse, because you did, after all, treat your other wives unfairly. So you will increase, and then you will decrease. You will become completely null, and you will also become completely full. So thus we have the full moon and the new moon and the cycles in between. The second Jyotirling that Panditji described was the Mallikarjuna Jyotirling in Andhra Pradesh. The story goes that Shiv and Shiva went there to bless their eldest son Kartikeya, who was mad and had left Kailash. Why? Because Ganesh, the youngest brother, was favored for marriage and not him. There was a contest in which Ganesh won. The contest was who could travel the entire creation fastest. Kartikeya had peacock as his ride, and Ganesh had mouse. And Ganesh also is heavy in composition. Kartikeya is fit. So Kartikeya thought that he should have won. But Ganesha had simply done an amazing trick. He simply roamed around his father and mother, Shiv and Shiva, and considered that the completion of the contest, which in essence is also true, because Shiv is also the all the creation that is represented. There is nothing beyond Shiv. Therefore, you don't have to go anywhere. Shiv is right with you. If you realize that, then you don't really have to find and search him everywhere else, or find the end of the universe, or what have you. This clever trick won the hearts of the father and the mother, Shiv and Shiva, and thus Ganesha was awarded the winning of the contest. And Kartikeya thought that this was a cheating. Really, the thought was physical. Visit of the entire creation, not metaphysical. But then at this time, Shiv and Shiva represent both the physical and the metaphysical. So in essence, Ganesha was right, but Kartikeya was mad. So thus he had left. And Shiv and Shiva appeared there, blessed him, tried to convince him. And in that, they gave him the boon that this will be the Mallikarjuna Jyotirlinga. Shows and symbolizes the parental love. The number 3 Jyotirling that Panditji described was Mahakaleshwar Jyotirling in Madhya Pradesh. Son of Kumbhakarna was abolished there. And Shiv emerged there as Mahakal because son of Kumbhakarna was a great warrior but a great demon as well. And Mahakal had annihilated and vanquished the demon and protected the city of Ujjain. And thus this particular Jyotirling represents that story, and also the Lord of Time and Death, Mahakaleshwar Bhagavan. The number 4th Jyotirling is Omkareshwar Jyotirling that Panditji described in Madhya Pradesh. There are 2 lings in this place. The Vindhya, inspired by Narad, and Shiva, who manifested in the sacred Om shape to answer the prayers of the sages, meditating there on the cosmic sound, the Omkar. So thus, 2 Jyotirlings are there. In the Omkareshwar Mahadev represents the primordial sound of the universe, the Om. Then the 5th Jyotirling that Panditji described is Kedarnath, Uttarakhand. After the war of Mahabharat, Shiva eluded the Pandavas and revealed himself as the Jyotirling in Himalayas, blessing the Pandavas. Nar and Narayan also did their worship. The avatar of Lord Shri Vishnu also did their meditation at this place. And this is also the remaining part of the Shiv that we learn. Pashupatinath is the head, and the remaining part is Kedarnath Mahadev in Uttarakhand. The 6th Jyotirling that Panditji described is Bhimashankar in Maharashtra near Pune. The story here is that after defeating Tripurasur, Mahadev's Jyotirling here appeared manifested as the divine energy source, and thus this Jyotirling Bhimashankar near the Bhim river in Pune, Maharashtra. Then Panditji talked about the 7th Jyotirling is Kashi Vishwanath or Vishweshwar Mahadev in Uttar Pradesh. She promised liberation to all who die in Kashi, making it the eternal city of light and freedom. This is where Brahma also worshipped Shiv, and Shiv provided the ultimate protection that no matter what happens, Kashi will remain under my protection always, for all eternity. Then Panditji talked about the 8th Jyotirling, Trimbakeshwar Mahadev in Maharashtra. Gautam Rishi did tapascharya, did meditation here. And there are 3 heads to this Jyotirling. Shiv granted the origin of the Godavari river to Gautam Rishi, following his request. So Godavari also originates from this place. The 9th Jyotirling that Panditji described is Vaidyanath, Jharkhand. Ravan offered his 10 heads at this place, completely surrendering himself at the feet of Lord Shiv. And Lord Shiv appeared and gave him all the eternal power and energy and made him undefeated warrior. Vaidyanath also means that he is the doctor of doctors. Any illness that you may have, worshipping Vaidyanath Bhagwan can cure it. Again, he restored all the heads of Ravan who had surrendered, all the heads to Shiv at this place. The 10th Jyotirling that Panditji described is Nageshwar Bhagwan in Gujarat. Shiv protected his devotees from demons, especially demonic serpents, and thus he became the lord of Nagas, the snakes, thus the Nageshwar Bhagwan. Then Panditji talked about the 11th Jyotirling, Rameshwar in Tamil Nadu. Ram worshipped Rameshwar Bhagwan before marching to Lanka on the bridge that was created to defeat the 10-head demon Ravan who had kidnapped Rama's wife. Shiv gave him the eternal power and also the boon that Ram, you will defeat Ravan. Thus, he became the Lord of Ram, Rameshwar. Then the 12th Jyotirling that Panditji described, and the final Jyotirling that Panditji described was Grishneshwar Mahadev in Maharashtra. Shiv blessed a devout woman with her chopped or killed son who was in pieces, honoring her with unwavering faith in Shiva's devotion. So Kushma and her devotion to Lord Shiv is what led to the Grishneshwar Mahadev. His son was killed and chopped off into the pieces and thrown into the river, and Kushma, and this was done due to the jealousy of the other wife or the beloved of the Brahmin who she was married to, because she did not have any children, yet Kushma had. So the son was killed. She was heartbroken, but she ultimately surrendered to Shiv, and Shiv provided her the boon and restored the sun into full form. Thus the Grishneshwar Mahadev. This was the 12th and final Jyotirling that Panditji described. Just remembering or simply thinking about these 12 Jyotirlings as Panditji had talked about can revive you, can bless you. Purity of mind and body is essential in sadhana. When you purify your mind and your body, and you focus on this singular form, singular source of all energy, Shivling, you then become revived, blessed, and you achieve a divinity through that. That is what Panditji had described. Finally, It is Shiva and his Maya, his illusion after all. This world is all his. Started with him, it concludes with him. And everything in between is also him. Kali Yuga just began few 100,000, 400 or so thousand years ago only. It's so young, there is so much time left. But realizing your devotion to Shiv at this stage will protect you from all the dangers that this world will begin to give you. Stabilize yourself and your energy, your mindset in Lord Shiv, and you shall achieve eternal bliss. The poetry by Narsi Mehta comes into the mind that Jagine Joto Jagat Dise Nahi Ung Maad Patapukvase. When I'm awakened, I don't see anything. It is only when I'm dreaming I see these carnal desires, this world, this materialistic existence, which I can overcome by focusing on the Jyotirlinga, the energy form of Lord Shiv, along with Shiva. That's all we have. Om Namah Shivaya.